You see the vibes. It's Women's Month, so you know we wasn't going to let Women's Month go without getting an episode off about our women, our black queens. All of them from the decades, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. This week, we're going to celebrate our black queens, and we're about to do it here on Textually Active.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Textually Active.
Textually Active.
This is your weekly dose of conversations about navigating the digital age while dealing with friendships, relationships, and all the ships in between. I'm Rez, and I got Meezy with me.
I'm here.
E is on the boards.
Yeah.
This nigga is in rare form.
Who's
you, sir.
What I do?
You, sir.
What I do?
Yesterday, I just wanted to say, just leading up to where we are today. Yesterday, he told me that somebody didn't like his price, and he said he wished that motherfuckers would just say, if you broke, you broke. Like, just say you broke. Everybody else got this stimmy, and you still acting stingy out here. That was strike one. Strike two is his attitude today. We seen it. You seen it, right?
Yeah.
Rare form. All right. How you doing?
Cool. Trying to wear my hat low. I feel a couple blemishes here, but don't worry about that. Hairline intact, don't.
I never understand that about you. Every time your hairline is sitting right, like you got a nice strong hairline, and you always put a hat on.
I like aesthetics.
Okay.
I'm out for aesthetics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't no catfish here. So.
The viewers wouldn't know.
No,
because you always
hat.
put a hairline. You put a hat on it.
No hatfish here. It's just I've been wearing hats for a minute, so
Barber still getting you right. I see.
You already know the vibes.
I see.
You know what happens when you go home.
Shout out my nigga Cuts by Friday. You know the vibes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Getting that haircut right.
You already know.
Spring is almost here.
Ready.
Or is it here? The first day of spring just passed, right?
I don't know what the fuck going on. It was a tornado yesterday. Streets been looking real gloomy, real dark.
Well, North Carolina was going to do that. Anyway.
I had to put on sweatpants and shit today. So, jean jacket just because, it's a little chill out there. So, you know what I'm saying?
But not too cold. Not too cold for the goose down.
You know the vibes.
Just a little light. Something light.
Just throw that on, Came in twinned up with my co-host.
That's how we do.
That's how I go.
But it's Tuesday. We're here for another episode. Everybody feeling good.
4 weeks in a row. I appreciate my women. You know what I'm saying? Last week was the Aaliyah.
Who you got today?
I had to bring it this week. The queen here today.
Okay.
Big B.
Big B.
Big B here today.
Is that Blue Ivy?
Oh, no, that's her mama.
Oh, okay.
Mama.
Beyonce. Yeah, she's old news. Blue is here.
That's Blue Ivy's
competition?
Client.
No.
Oh, client.
Yeah.
Client. That's crazy.
Blue Ivy's personal shopper is what that lady is.
I like the vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Like the vibes.
Big Blue. Big Grammy.
She claims her golden
sippy cup. Yeah. They put a straw in it.
She don't even got a sippy cup no more. She's like 7.
No,
they put a straw in it. She drank it out of a straw.
You're missing the point.
Okay.
She drank out of it with a straw. I wonder if they poured a Capri Sun in
so
there.
We're going to take you back into time. Do you remember when it was 4 for 4? Hov got a whole bunch of Grammys, and he poured Douce and was drinking.
Number one,
was it not 4 for 4?
No, it wasn't that album.
All right. Well, I don't know what album was it.
It wasn't 4 for 4.
It was not. He got Grammys. He got a shit ton of Grammys.
He got Grammys. Period.
Right, and basically they got mad at him because he poured Douce inside the horn of the Grammy and was drinking it, and he said, "I'm gonna get Blue some Goldie sippy cups."
Oh,
and then she basically took a picture of her drinking out of her Grammy for her Goldie sippy.
That is now a trend to do. Like I remember Hov did it. I seen Drake do it when he took it around his house, and all his friends drink out of the Grammy. So it's a trend now. Or if I ever get one, I'm gonna do what Kanye do and piss on mine.
Piss on it?
I mean, I don't know if he used his real urine, but he did put it in a toilet, and water proceed to indulge the Grammy. So.
Okay. Oh,
because we don't need these.
White people to tell us.
Okay, I wasn't gonna go that far, but these academies of people telling us what they think what we good for. Like nigga, shit, I didn't get nominated for a Grammy, but I do dope shit. And the podcast award ain't nominated us for nothing. And we do good shit.
That's true.
Niggas steal our ideas and our concepts and our conversation think pieces all the fucking time. So you know what I'm saying? Niggas see what we got going on and want to bite of it.
That's so true. That's true. That's true. It's nothing wrong with that. Just as long as you're uplifting the people that came before you.
Big facts.
And with Women's History Month still going on, that's something that we continue to do. You do it every week, coming in with the shirt this week of Blue Ivy's mother.
I had to do that.
And, you know, I got a saying for all the women. I got this, because we always got this. And in history, we've always held shit down.
Right.
So this week, I wanted to come in here and kind of discuss the timeline of women throughout the decades.
More importantly,
Black women.
we're gonna do that because that's a
We was gonna do that anyway.
We was gonna do
I
that
can't
anyway.
tell you too much about those
other
races.
But I know
Mm-hmm.
what I know about Black women.
I know what I know about Black women.
Exactly.
And before we get into this, I want to say, first off, boomers, I was not there, so do not at me. I've gotten a lot of my information from Sir Google and YouTube University because, again, I was not there. But I do know.
I feel like it was rough
Yeah,
back then. Yeah.
it was hard.
I don't think they would like to relive it.
I'm not rolling because you know what? Like, because during like Black History Month and during like MLK's birthday and stuff, like I guess it just dawned on me that all those pictures weren't taken in black and white.
Bruh, they were not in black and white. Those are pictures that were in color.
Right.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
I don't know so here's, when people bring that point up, I don't know the origin of film.
Right.
So I don't know if color, of course they wasn't shooting that shit in 4K back then, but I don't think the color capabilities of film back then was
Colored
like
pictures
that.
came out in 1907.
Oh, well, then they just...
No.
Color photography was invented in 1907, but wasn't until 1935 that it became popular. But it was very expensive.
Oh, so these niggas was just trying to make us look black and white for nothing.
No, I think
Because it was cheap.
No,
Look at this.
And it says the
I
earliest
don't-
ones came out mid 50s.
I think the issue about why are they putting them in black and white is because we associate things in black and white to be old and to be super long ago. And yes, the 60s were a good time ago, but it wasn't in the 1800s.
Yeah, but they were doing that because it was cheap. Niggas was broke.
I don't
No,
know.
it says that it became readily available to the average person in the 50s.
Yeah, niggas was broke. Nigga, you couldn't just fucking, what, no fucking Polaroid.
So
you
what
could
would we
take-
describe it to? Like printing?
I the way I look at it,
It was probably 3D printing. Like,
way-
that shit ain't, you can do it now.
I think it's
You
a
don't see
modern
that many
way.
people?
I think it's a modern way to say like, oh, like this happened so long ago, get over it.
Right.
That's what I think most people's issue with it is.
I mean, they remastering all those good photos. So shout out to everybody that's trying to rewrite history. You know, nigga put Michael Jackson. What's the one? The one where he had the suit on, and he does the lean. I don't remember the name of that video, but the Michael Jackson. They put that shit in 4K the other day.
What?
Flyer.
Okay.
Now I need to know, I need to say what the hell it is. So
It's fire.
It's, not Thriller, but
No, the other one.
Because I always put those two together. I feel
damn,
so.
why can't I think
Michael
of it?
Jackson.
My black heart
Oh
is
man, they
folks.
finna flame me for
Yeah,
that.
I didn't see it. I haven't been
We all know what the song is called.
Thriller.
Is it bad?
Beat
No, bro, no. It's like him being a thug.
Doesn't matter if you're black or white.
No.
All right, bro.
Okay, we
can move
just
on.
sat there and watched the entire video
We
series.
can
at
move
my
on
parents'
from this,
house.
bro. We did, when you said that one, we can move on.
Okay, so it's funny that you want to start with
The fucking name of the movie, the video was Smooth Criminals.
Smooth Criminal. Okay,
I knew it
duh.
was something to do
He's
with-
acting like a thug.
Gangster or something, yeah. Smooth Criminal, he had the suit on and shit.
MJ wasn't a thug.
All right, Tony, please don't use this as a clip. Keep it, but don't use it as a clip.
You wild.
MJ wasn't a thug.
He was Crip.
Was he?
Yeah, he had big Crip energy.
He was Big Crip.
MJ was not a crib.
Big Crip.
Listen, we've been hearing a lot
Google
of stories
it.
about how he wanted his own version of Super Thug, and how he wanted his own version of Frontin' and the Thong Song. So him being a big Crip,
He was Big Crip.
Oh, there are pictures of MJ throwing up the C's. No way. And he has on a blue shirt. Wow, MJ.
Mike was big grip.
Anywho, yeah. So with the history of women, I like to think, I know, Meezy, you said that it seemed like it was hard and it was a very hard time.
So
Black women made it look like it was a little fun, though.
Which era are we speaking of?
Starting from the 60s.
60s. I mean, I'm pretty sure they it was just a rough time, you know, because we're coming, you know, like in an era of, you know, still segregation. Like, I don't want to call it post slavery, but
It's pretty close.
Pretty close. And you know, so it was rough for them back then. You know, everything was colored this, colored that, and shit like that. And you know, they had households because you know that's what they were used to, having households full of people. Was opportunities was limited, and so you know they did what they had to do. They made that shit work though.
I looked up something on the internet, as I said, for the roles of women. And what do you think the roles of women were back in the 60s?
Okay, get him a misogyny bag.
You get a what?
Barefoot and pregnant.
A bear.
It's not Meezy's not being toxic, but I mean that was a toxic time.
Barefoot and pregnant. So the role of the women in American society in the 60s was that, you know, it's the beginning of a new decade. Women were portrayed as housemakers, on television and in advertisements, happy housemakers. They had jobs like secretaries, teachers, and nurses because you're helping somebody else. Like, that's the only thing that you can do. You can nurture. And women who did not get married were depicted as unattractive, unfortunate, spinsters. What does spinsters mean? Does that mean like a floozy?
I don't know, but it's fine.
I like spinsters.
Let's bring that back.
Spinsters is way better than thought, if that's what that means.
And then when you bring it back, like, she is spinning the block.
She's a spinster. I like that. We're bringing spinsters back.
We're bringing that
back. And those who asserted themselves were dismissed as nagging shrews. Women were to strive for beauty, elegance, marriage, children, and a well-run home.
So that felt like a lot of, you know, Caucasian women. So,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I know it was probably a little rougher for our black queens back then.
A spinster is a unmarried woman, typically an older woman beyond the usual age for marriage.
Yeah.
So all millennials.
What the fuck? I was about to say, right. What age is the age
so we're
for
all
that?
spinsters.
So
because you're supposed to be married by like 22.
Are you?
I guess so. That's what
they've been spinning it for a while.
Yeah. Oh.
And it says, meanwhile, popular culture ignored the fact that all women did not fit the mold that tradition had prescribed for them. So pop culture was always pushing that women need to be feminine, elegant, beautiful, and you couldn't be like barefoot and pregnant.
Yeah, because now I'm thinking about it. I think my grandma, my aunts and uncles, they all like born in the 60s. So I think all of them, well, probably like the later 60s. But, you know, I think my grandma had all her kids before she was 21. She had 4 kids before 21. So it's wild times back then.
Yeah. A lot of them were having women, a lot of kids just to keep up with the tradition because at that time, that's what they thought was the standard. Yeah. That's what you're seeing in media. That's what you're seeing your favorite stars do. That's what your grandmother did. And this is the way to make everything good. Yeah. I think it was hard. I think it was hard to have ambitions. What if you was a lesbian back then? Because gay stuff was happening back then too. You couldn't be gay.
I mean, it was probably a secret.
Big
secret. You know, wasn't Woodstock back then though?
Was it?
I feel like it.
I think that probably was the 70s because the 70s is right close to it. It's hand in hand, and you know, it's close, but Woodstock, it was more of a party for white people, right?
Valid. You got a point.
So I don't think our black queens were really showing up and showing out at Woodstock.
Yeah. I don't think it was a lot of black space back then. A lot of places for black space. You know, they had to do shit on the low, you know. A lot of the revolutionary shit was going on, but, you know, that was some shit they tried to downplay about black people in general. So
they had Diana Ross.
Shout out to Diana Ross.
Right. Towards the end of the 60s is when the gay rights movement really kind of took off.
Okay.
With Stonewall in New York.
Okay. So it was hard in the 60s. That's cool. 70s looked hot. The women in the 70s with their afros, the black revolutionary women, everybody standing up fighting for women's rights and pushing the charge for that. It was a lot of memorable women who came out in this decade. We got Tina Turner, the Queen of Rock. We got Donna Summer, the Queen of Disco. We got Shaka Khan. You remember when, I don't know if you experienced this, but whenever I would wear my hair like in like a wild, not wild, I don't want to say wild, take that, like a curly afro, I would get compared to Shaka Khan. Like that's everybody's reference. Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan was that one, boy.
And then we got Aretha Franklin.
We talking about some legends here that was really like showing black women like it was okay to be you. Because I'm pretty sure they didn't see them, so you could hear it in the music that they made. That it was very, you know what I'm saying? What's the shit? Keep Rolling, RESPECT. The Donna Summer hit, I can't think of it right now, but that was a big one. So they was really showing women it was okay to be empowerment. What's the one? You make me feel like a natural.
You make me feel.
You know what I'm saying? Like they was out here doing their thing.
Well, this is when women were actively fighting for their rights. You know, I'm sure these women that we just named, Tina, Donna, Shaka, they all grew up with that tradition that you're supposed to fit this cookie cutter mold.
Right.
You're supposed to get a husband. You're supposed to be a nurse, a teacher, or a maid, a secretary. And these women were like, nah, I'm not really feeling that. I'm talented. And we seen it in the Tina Turner doc.
I really think that was a good reference, but yeah.
We did though, because she was constantly fighting that man to be who she wanted to be.
Valid.
And he was like, no, girl, like you need to
do what you gonna do. What I tell you to do, and do it that way.
Right. So I think she's an excellent.
I mean, he was DV still.
It was DV, but
big DV.
It's not, but the fact that she was still able to push through all of that
and be a
make
superstar,
music, be a superstar, and still go home and have to deal with that because that's how much value people put on marriage and families.
The biggest flex was her wanting to keep the last name.
Right.
She's like, I made this last name.
Right. Like, this is my last name now.
That's foul.
Hey, a part of us is, at some point, as a culture in a society, we're going to have to separate the two people from the movie. Like, I'm not sure.
Angela Bassett is not Tina Turner.
I think some of those are probably real events that may have happened, but it's not a true story. It's a fictional story based upon real events.
They don't make biopics like they used to.
So you're saying that he may not have said eat the cake?
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Nah, her friend was there. She witnessed it. That's a true.
See, here we go.
That's a true event.
Right.
He told her to eat the cake.
Right.
We've been eating the cake for the longest.
But I'm not gonna lie. Until you said that, like to me, like that's exactly how it happened. Like to me, like
No.
like it was like someone filmed it. They had somebody filming it the whole time.
No.
But true story, I thought that in my younger years, I was like, yo, Tina Turner snapping. And then I saw the real Tina Turner. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
That's not. That's not.
Hey, them niggas they done made Lawrence Fishburne a meme you can use now. like that's how good he made that. He played that role.
And whole time they showed them both at the end of the movie, and it was like nothing that I didn't picture them to look like that. But shout out to Tina Turner, she really paved the way. And wait, we forgot with our girl Diana Ross, who she opened the door for.
I mean, for a lot.
We don't even put them two together.
I mean, we probably should. All right.
Why?
I mean.
That's it.
I think he fucked.
Who?
I think a young 17-year-old Michael Jackson who's had a crush on this woman forever.
Oh, wait, we going there? With Diana Ross and Michael Jackson? I was talking about they gave us Tracy Ellis.
Oh, I mean.
The original Blue Ivy?
I mean,
So are you saying, because I've heard this story before,
I think he did,
that you believe that MJ and Diana Ross may have bumped uglies and there's a secret child?
I don't know about secret child,
Secret child,
but I do think he beat.
I think there's some glitter on it.
You think there's some what?
Some glitter.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he beat.
Okay.
I'm for sure he beat.
Oh, okay. I don't think so.
The Wiz was good as shit.
She was inspired.
It was. You might be right because they did do the Wiz together.
Fam, Diana Ross is playing Dorothy.
Yeah.
At like 37 years old.
Real quick, the Wiz or the Wizard of Oz? No judgment. This is a safe space.
Come on, bro.
The Wiz.
I've never in my adult life, black adult life, ever seen the Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
I've heard things from I know context until I just listened to Stephanie Mills, shout out Stephanie Mills, who did the Broadway version of the Wiz, say there's two different songs. The Wiz got home, fucking the Wizard of Oz got There's No Place Like I didn't know there was two. I only know the songs from the Wiz.
Yeah.
Nobody know that shit.
Mm-hmm. So you're definitely going with the Wiz.
Always.
E, what about you?
There's really nothing to really kind of talk about. But I'm not gonna lie, Shorty going down a little taller thing scares me. Like it still kind of frightens me to this day.
The Wiz is like, you know how?
Because it's all black.
Do you know how when that movie Us came out? Was it Us? And I Got 5 on it. You know that beat that they flipped?
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz is the beginning. When the beat flipped, that's the Wiz. Because the Wiz was scary. And I don't know if they intended it to be a horror film, but I get chills watching it. That witch, frightening.
Shout out.
When they did the colors dance, frightening.
Shout out Big, since we here, shout out Big Davy Allen. We gotta talk about our goats and our legends.
Right.
This is really just a celebration of black women over the years. That's all we do.
It is.
Bro,
but the Wiz was scary.
They need this.
And it will never be forgotten. Like
never.
I feel like my kids will definitely be like, yo, you need to watch all
We
this.
watching this for Christmas. Like this is what we gonna put our kids on the black stuff. I don't really remember getting put on the Wiz because I just remember it being on TV one day and I was like, I've never seen this. Let me watch it. And I was like, oh no, this fire.
It's gonna be beautiful to grow up or raise kids in an era where you don't necessarily have to teach them the whitewashed way. It's just the black way.
Right.
This is what we do in our black ass house because we actually have a culture. Right. We have things, we have molds, we have things that are made specifically for us that we do for us, by us, and we're going to show our kids. Absolutely. You don't have to watch The Wizard of Oz.
When we get to the 80s.
You don't have to watch The Lion King. Oh, okay, I'm joking. I'm joking.
You always take it too far. You always take it too far.
You don't have to watch The Lion King.
I'm gonna go out to say that The Lion King was the first black Disney movie.
I mean, the lead character in the Disney movie is a black man when they get to the singing part, so it counts. I mean, the rest of them niggas was white,
and that's what's
the important part is the black guy in there. So yeah.
Okay. While we're here in this 60s, 70s, we can't forget Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle.
I mean, don't forget our civil rights. Shout out for Coretta Scott King for holding it down.
That's right.
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks, she was there. Malcolm X's wife, Shabazz, the lady, I forget her name. Betty Shabazz. Yes. Shout out to her for holding it down back in the day. I know this is a big thing. Fred Hampton's girlfriend, because I don't think they got a chance to get married. Since I'm sure
that's a wife.
Okay, that's a wife.
That's a wife.
That counts.
That's a wife.
These were people who held it down at a time where black people really needed it, and they kept home good. They kept everything perfect for them what they needed, which was crazy.
That's right. And you needed that during that time.
Yeah, you definitely needed that during that time. That was crazy, fam. They were getting water hosed and fucking bitten by dogs just because they was black.
Nigga, right. You went to work and your boss was petty aggressive towards you, passive aggressive towards you. You went out to get coffee to mind your black ass business and somebody spit in your coffee cup in front of you and you had to hold it together.
Nigga,
because the cops, which isn't far off from what we go through now because the cops are working for them and still on their side.
True.
I just feel like our generation, like we I've heard older people say that we are like some of the bravest generation, right? Because we don't really take too much trash from anything. But like I just don't see sit-ins happening now.
Yeah, this bravery ain't compared to that bravery.
That's what I'm saying.
Like the guy came into the store I was in the other day and was like, he had his A&T jacket on. He was like, yeah, my class was the class that my freshman class was the class that did the Greensboro sit-in. And it's like they take great pride in those things, and we're very appreciative to them and the women that held them down, because I know it was a rough time. I don't even know how you bail a nigga out back then. I don't think it's the same.
I don't even think that was an option.
Yeah,
personally, like when I think back on it, and this isn't facts, again, boomers, I was not there, but I don't think that you bail anybody. Is that an option? Like, do you say, hey, I'm coming to get? No, you're not. He's going to jail.
Yeah.
Like no court, no nothing. He's going to sit here.
Yeah.
That's our plan.
Yeah.
I think that was just it.
That's got to be rough on households, and we ain't even got to get into the dynamic it had on families.
Right. So I will say that during that era, it was a change, and I think the 70s really took charge and continuing to push the needle forward for women, and us breaking that mold of being just somebody who sits in the house, takes care of the family, and takes care of everybody else. Like, we can do much more than that. We could be entertainers. We could be activists. We can build a nation and maintain the nation at the same time.
Yeah.
So shout out to the 70s. And we can't forget the fashions.
There was some baddies back then.
We can't forget the fashions. The girls were doing their thing in the 70s, okay? I'm talking the colors. I'm talking the earrings. I'm talking the hairstyles. The girls, the curls.
Hey, let me tell you. I'm going to be vulnerable for a moment.
What?
Every year, Winston has the Black Theater Festival every time. It was the home of it every day. Every time I see Thelma for Good Times, boy, it's up. Boy, it's up.
It's firm.
I ain't never seen nobody be that fine for that many years. Jesus Christ.
We didn't even get into the fellas with the platforms.
I mean, niggas was up.
You was already 6 foot with your platforms on, and you had a nerve to throw a goldfish in it too. Do you think they really did that?
Yes.
That's wild.
That's fire. Though.
Imagine a dope boy on the corner with a full suit and platforms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
was killing niggas.
They was bad. They was bad.
Yeah,
you don't even get that much range of action in a suit, so you gotta be a smooth, a smooth criminal.
You had to shoot. You was a shooter. That shooter was a shooter. It wasn't no chasing.
That's a whoop-a-snapper right there. Whoop and snap.
Yeah, that switchblade ready.
Exactly.
with that cocaine pinky.
Ooh.
And they was doing cocaine. Oh, they was having a good time.
You only had to have money. You had to have money though. You was really getting money back there.
Right. If you was doing cocaine. But the fashion, I mean,
TV was hitting.
TV.
That the Good Times was based in the 70s.
Okay. They had Cher too. Cher came out.
She white, bro. We don't acknowledge
Okay.
them.
All right.
Relax.
All right. Jamaicans acknowledge Cher, so.
Apparently.
Yeah, I did not know Jamaicans.
I was literally about to say, I'm like, I just want to know. Like, why?
Why? Yeah,
she's the goddess of pop. She's been embodying the female autonomy in a male-dominated industry for years. Her distinctive singing voice and her variety of styles and appearances have set her apart during the 6-decade-long career. She's the girl. They love Cher. I personally don't know Cher's song. I'm embarrassed to say.
I'm not.
What? I mean, like, I don't know. I didn't grow up. Do you guys know any Cher songs?
I'm cool on it.
Is it okay? Can we shout out Cher for our Jamaican listeners?
I am cool on it.
Okay. Remember when,
I think we done now.
Right.
remember when we spent that summer on live with our friends playing music and somebody played Cher Against You and you was like,
I am cool on
know who this lady is. I'm cool off of it. All right, so then we get into the 80s.
Shout out Pam Grier too. Just because she's from the trade. You know the vibe.
Okay. So the 80s and the 90s.
She always been fine.
Always been fine.
Pam Grier.
Yeah.
Black don't crack. Like she's still fine.
She's still fine.
Like still. Like I just seen her in a recent episode of SVU as somebody mama. I was like, yeah, she was the one.
Okay, yeah. I'm not good with names. Every time somebody say a name, I'm like, huh? Okay, I
The
gotta
queen
see
of blaxploitation.
Shout out Black Exploitation too.
Oh yeah, she is fine. Yep, look good. All right, so we get into the 80s and the 90s.
I think was Eartha Kitt in the 70s? I mean, she was out for a minute, but like the Batman stuff, like the first Catwoman, that was during the 70s.
Shout out Eartha
right?
Kitt too.
Okay.
Damn, nigga, like black people been killing shit for a long time.
We have been. So the 80s and the 90s.
I mean, where you want to start? Like
The
this
hip,
is
the hot. Well, no.
like fam.
Let's start with the roles for the 80s and the 90s. Because, you know, the 70s started, they had to break through that barrier of women breaking traditions, playing other roles,
right,
being a little firm.
This was one of the first times we were allowed to see black wealth, black excellence in its finest. You know, like the Jeffersons were rich. Like I think people don't talk about this as much.
I think like his business. He was
an entrepreneur.
He was a laundromat owner. Right?
He was a laundromat owner that like he owned that, and it allowed him to move to the east side up in a high rise from the ghetto. Like he was considered rich back then. Like, you know what I'm saying? They were doing this. They had a maid who was black. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like black families didn't have that.
Listen, man.
Like Claire and Heathcliff were a doctor and a lawyer who had a family.
Mr. Jefferson moved on up so ghosts can move that dope.
You see what I'm saying?
It was the representation.
You see the representation. You see the vibes, nigga. Eddie Murphy showed me what. I didn't even know you could have a job in marketing. Like this nigga had a job
Boomerang.
in marketing and had the women. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And then we get Oprah.
I mean, you already know. We don't even got to talk on that one.
And media.
Once you say her name, it's up.
I mean, she's still doing a thing. Were you silent or were you silenced?
I'm not. Today's not a day for this, but yeah, it was Oprah. Yeah,
Oprah. She started the media thing, but just seeing that representation of us and that we can do other things, specifically black women stepping into these roles and trying to break away from what you think we supposed to be doing.
Shout out to the athletes, Jackie Jordan Curse. Going crazy with her fashion. They were judging her. She one of the first athletes, track stars I seen with long fingernails and flamboyant outfits going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Flojo. Yeah. Jackie Jordan Curtis, like a bunch of these like women who were going crazy.
Just doing what they had to do.
Could female
fly right by you and still be fly.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The 80s and the 90s was an interesting time. I don't really
I think the 80s really kind of push the whole like working woman. Like,
yeah,
it was really a booming economy for working women back then.
Because things like the 60s and 70s, like, you know, there were some direct and some indirect issues that caused women to have to get in the workforce, right? You got like your Vietnams and you know, the prison industrial complex and stuff like that you know really kind of caused people to have these single parent homes. And you know, the 80s, I think, is when you started to see like it starting to boom.
So I guess we can call the 80s the balancing act that women had to do between managing a household and being a career woman.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're getting that representation on television. You fought all this time to get equality and be able to hold roles in different positions. And now you actually have it. So you're doing the balance of working from home or working at home, maintaining your household and working a career, which is a lot of work.
It's crazy because, you know, still back then they were still having 4 or 5 kids.
Right. So imagine going to work with 6 kids at home.
Yeah, and they fucking all around the same age.
And then you're getting this thing because they expect you to work 40 hours a week, right? And then still be able to maintain your home. And I don't think that's possible. Yeah. I think somebody has to be able to be home to do the things. Because never have I ever said after 8 hours of work, I want to come home and wash and fold and keep up with kids. I don't.
Mamas was holding it down back then, boy.
I don't. But I definitely think there was a time for us to step into our own and continue to do some things. We've seen a lot of black women just doing their damn thing in the 90s. Any stick out to you?
The 90s?
Yep.
I mean, you know, when I think of 90s, women, specifically black women, I think are the voice of 90s black women. Mary J. Blige. Like, there's nothing.
Mary, Mariah.
Like, if there's like a voice that sticks out.
In Vogue was the 80s, though.
Missy.
Yeah, like,
Aaliyah.
Yeah, I guess the end of it, I would give that there. Just these like incredible
Queen Latifah.
Incredible women. MC Light,
Witty. Nippy had the 80s and the 90s on lock.
She had it in a chokehold. So, it was just a bunch of women that for us who impacted us and impacted like how life was around us. It was really just a representation. These women are now, there's a thing. Like if you ever watch any old comic view, like these 90 women, I tell you, they different. Like they want you to do ABC. It was just women. They have finally come into their own.
I definitely think the 90s was a time for us to get louder. Like we were quiet for so long.
Yeah.
The women before us were quiet for so long. I'm saying I was 7, but like just seeing these women doing these things, and Mary J. Blige, she was so damn cool to me.
She was
like
fire.
You are a vibe. You singing, you lay back. You got like this down to earth look, but you fly at the same time. And then we got Lil' Kim, and she's fucking hard.
Shout out to Mia Hilton, who was helping them do those looks back then. Shout out to her. It was cool, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was free. Like, hey, shout out to you mamas that was at Freaknik doing what y'all was doing,
It's a lot of pictures resurfacing of what you all were doing at Freaknik. And I'm not going to judge y'all because this is the first time you got a chance to like share your voice.
90s. You also got to throw in a wave of it was cool to go to college. The different worlds out the world was showing people it was cool to go to college. And the fashion of that was just different. Them niggas was fly as hell. Like I'm trying to fly.
When I think 90s fashion, I think just like
parachute pants,
nice denim, colors, like those
hella colors,
those windbreakers,
hella colors,
the glasses,
those OG 95s.
Ooh.
OG 95s.
Don't forget the
Air Max,
the car canines and the Coogis,
the gold,
the hoops and shit, the fucking 8-ball jackets and shit.
Fubu was in the late 90s.
Fubu was in the late 90s. Yeah,
Fubu was in the late 90s.
Fuck Fubu.
He shit.
Hey, on the low. I always wanted this. What's the line after that? Does he say blow vicious?
Blowticious.
Oh,
Stevie delicious. That was always the thing. It's like, what? Like, how did you rhyme blowticious? And then they were like,
what does blowticious even mean?
That was the other question.
Like, hey, LL, we're gonna talk about that.
I mean, and another thing is, now that you say blow vicious, I'm like, which is kind of wild, but could have worked.
It made sense. So I never understood what that line was.
But I listened to it, like, because that was like the first remix, if you think about it. But
well,
technically, I think that was the first remix of that Craig Mack song.
I'd argue that the style from the 90s is coming back into what we see today.
I don't think none of it ever left. I think all of it has just recycled itself in time, because I'm pretty sure those women in the 70s were wearing crop tops. I've seen women in the 90s and 2000s and the late 10s wear bell bottoms.
Slime line came from the 80s, 70s.
Flare pants.
Yeah.
Now you get
slime line.
That thing in them flare pants now look nuts.
Them little flower glasses that everybody have.
See what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it definitely came back around. Yeah. The 90s, I don't think it left. Some things we do leave in the past, but like windbreakers and hats are starting to become trendy again.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was something that was trendy back then. But the 90s definitely paved the way for where we are now, especially in the 2000s, because if it wasn't for the women continuing to show up and be loud and make their presence be felt,
Facts.
we wouldn't be where we were now. Sorry to Britney Spears, because she really, and I know this is a black thing, but Britney Spears stepped into it, but she was caring a little bit too much. If you want to do the Lil' Kim thing, you got to not give a fuck a little bit more. And the media really tore Britney apart. Like, they really tore her apart for just being her and being sexy. But shout out to Britney Spears, because she really tried. She took the 90s. She took what she seen in the 90s and brought it into the 2000s and kind of they cut her down.
a wild one.
They told her.
Speaking of that, the 90s also ushered in the Vixen era.
The Vixen.
Come on, bro. You was about to steal my glory.
My bad. Go
That
ahead.
was my 2000s glory.
I mean,
boy.
but it kind of got ushered in because you got the early stuff. Like,
Nah. I'm about to get into my bag.
Go ahead.
Shout out to the Melissa Fords,
I mean, what about
the
Vivica?
Superheads, the Buffy the Bodies.
Absolutely.
Man, like these are women who are opening doors now. Like if you thought you was an Instagram
Can we put
model,
Pinky
you
in
make
there?
it. I mean, if you want to go that
yes,
genre,
I mean-
if we can go that genre,
You want to talk about working women?
the Cherokees. Shout out to my fellas, because you know.
But I guess what I was trying to talk
Diamond
about,
from Players Club.
I was trying to talk about like Vivica A. Fox and like you.
Shout out Gab, all the black women that you see in all the black movies of that time. That's an important, because they ran those movies.
Gabrielle Union.
All of those
Halle
movies
Berry.
are based on women. All of them. All of the black classics, except for maybe a few of them, are based about black women. Best Day Holiday is a story about a dude marrying a woman. Like, shorty, I forget her name because we only know her as
Nia
Ebony.
Long.
Nia, like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. Oh my God. And Friday, Nia Long.
Gabrielle, I forget her. I forgot how to say her name. Shorty,
Robin Givens, right? Robin Givens.
Robin Givens, but Shorty from Jamie Foxx show. I forget how to say Garcelle.
Yeah,
Bouvier.
Garcelle.
Something.
Yeah.
I couldn't
That's
say
good.
it. It's
That's
close.
good.
Yeah,
I'll allow it.
Her.
That's good.
We don't really fuck with her, but Stacey Dash her fashion from Clueless was a big thing.
Who is that?
Stacey Dash.
No, I don't know who that is.
Okay, we're taking it there.
Yeah, so women and sexuality definitely went to the next level in the 2000s. 90s laid the groundwork, but they were still a little hard. They still had that hip hop feel to them. But in the 2000s,
oh my God, you're being sexy.
Is when you got sexy. You thought bitches was naked in the 90s, 2000s. Look at them runways.
I've never had a hard on harder than when I seen Trina on that dolphin in that XXL King mag.
Oh my gosh, Trina.
Solid as a rock.
And a lot. A lot of these women are still continuing to do these things.
Just saying.
They brought sexy back. No pun intended for JT and his weak ass apology.
Serena. When I seen Serena is really when I know, like, these are the women I'm gonna love for the rest of my life. Like, everybody used to say, "Oh, she's got this, she's strong," but I was like, "Have you seen her?"
I feel like we didn't see Serena in her full glory until the 2010s.
Nah, that was when Serena became this unstoppable, you can't say shit, untouchable. But catsuit Serena.
That's true. That's true.
Oh my God,
That's mid.
Her because that was Venus's time to be dominant. Niggas try to sleep over that.
Late 90s,
they try to sleep over that. We need to give Venus some her credit, because that was Venus's era where they was talking crazy about Serena. Like, you can't even beat your sister. Like, that was Venus's era going nuts. This is early stages of Beyonce and the girl groups. Shout out to Destiny's Child, 3LWs. We ain't mentioned TLC in the 90s, but shout out to TLC. Fan Mail. You know what I'm saying?
Fan Mail was my shit.
Right. That was a late 2000s album. So yeah, like an early 2000s. So.
I guess we got to throw in the incomparable Lauryn Hill.
Dude, I mean, shout out to, since we go in that box, shout out to the Jill Scotts and the Erykah Badus of the 2000s.
Absolutely.
The end-90s, early 2000s.
India Aries.
I feel like
Angie Stones.
Let's throw
Who is that
names.
lady who I tried to walk away and I spoke?
Oh, Macy Gray.
Macy Gray.
Macy Gray.
I felt like some of the eccentric like soul and stuff like that came too early.
Erykah Badu.
Like, I don't think we were ready for it. I don't think we were ready for it.
I think only a small different graphic of blacks was ready for stuff like that.
For soul music.
Yeah, like not soul music, but maybe like neo soul, because they gave us greats. Because as black people, anything black, we love it.
Yeah, like Crystal deodorant, that type of vibe.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if you think about it and you put neo soul aligned with all of these things, neo soul is something that probably would fit good in the 70s or in the 80s. But in the 90s, we're focusing on like breaking that mold, being a different type of woman. And then in the 2000s, like, you just got that sex appeal. And I don't know. Outside of Erykah Badu, them to just come out and just be like naked.
Have you ever seen Jill Scott?
Jill Scott is naked though. Is she getting naked?
Have you ever seen them things thinking?
Yeah, recently. But I just started paying attention to it.
Things
Like, because
was
Neo
thinking.
Soul was out of place because like hardcore hip hop was dominant,
Right.
And we were not really talking about it because it's not. I mean, there were women that were ushering the way, but it was just.
I mean,
like,
shout out
it was
to
just-
all the women that had them joints in the 2002 that the Deborah Cox and the Tamias and
Right.
Sunshine
Oh my
Andersons
gosh.
and,
We
Shanti's,
still hear Sunshine Anderson at the party.
the Keisha Cole.
K. Cole.
Congratulations on your retirement, by the way,
Who retired?
Keisha Cole.
Damn.
good for her.
Yeah,
Okay, she fed up.
yeah. Shout out to her. So these are women who were 2000s. They were writing those anthems that were describing teenage years and early 20 years for a lot of women. So shout out to them.
Then I feel like 2000s, people like to put 2000s and 2010s in the same basket, but those are two completely different eras.
They're completely
And for me and you personally, I feel like 2010 is when we reached peak adulthood. Not peak, but like we stepped into adulthood.
started making sense.
Things started being pieced together.
Materializing.
So you know how like
wanted to use
you know how if you
Materializing.
look at fashion, and we always talk about how like the early 2000s was just like a nasty time for fashion.
Yeah, very nasty.
Right, like I've kind of felt like the early 2010s. was,
Wait,
like,
let's spend a little time on the fashion for 2000s.
In the 2000s?
What do you remember about the 2000s fashion?
oversized. No, just I got one word. I got two words. Galaxy tees.
To your knees.
Yes.
To your knees, a dress, if you will.
That's
Like,
funny.
Men have been
mean-
comfortable in
The fact that
dresses.
you know the name of that is hilarious.
I mean,
Men
my-
have
I
been
mean,
comfortable in dresses
And
for
the
years.
thing is, my dad would not. I remember my dad would not get me any.
I never thought about it like that.
My dad was like, "I'm not spending $20 on a white T-shirt."
You know what? I really, when I think of fashion of the 2000s, I think of brands being the thing. So name brand outfits and things, and of the, I don't want to call it urban because urban gives it this thing, but like
I hate the word
like
urban.
urban is just like it. You want to say black, but you can't.
Just say
because-
black.
But see, the thing with urban is you want to say black, but you can't because there's also white things in there. So you just say urban.
Yeah.
So I remember,
They call it streetwear now.
yeah, like so. When I think of 2000s, I think of the Coogis and the Baby Fats and the Fat Farms, Lot 29 and the Nietzsche,
South Pole.
These
Jabots.
things. Jabots was the one. These fits that we wore, you know what I'm saying? In hindsight, we thought they were just Averex. Oh my god!
Those jackets were fire though.
You ever have a Pele Pele?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, Tigre?
All right. So this might be an up north thing because it's super cold up there. But bear jackets were a big thing, like in late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
Before North Face.
Like this nigga Hove. All right,
I'm being quiet during this part because we shopped at Farm and Mills and there wasn't a lot of options there. And my auntie worked at JCPenney,
The
so
Galaxy tee was there.
This is one of my gripes with Jay-Z. Like, I love everything he's done as a man, an artist, an entrepreneur. This nigga really made us put on button-up shirts. Big ass button-up shirts with big ass collars that you needed fucking cufflinks for. Like, he really had us dressing like that. Like, thank God they found Kanye when they found Kanye.
don't forget the Scooby Doo's.
Like,
Those
what-
are shoes, by the way.
what are those? Let's be clear. If anybody knows what specific shoe that is,
Scoop? What the fuck is a Scooby Doo?
No, so I think.
He's here, our New York representative.
I got into a big argument one time a while ago. From what I remember, the Scooby Doo's were a nickname for a pair of Jordans. That's what I remember.
all right.
That's what I remember. But then someone
Alright.
argued me down and was like, let's go through the numbers. None of these were called that. But I remember people were like, yo, I got the Scooby Doo like Jordans.
All right.
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I'll accept it.
I don't know.
I mean, but
Let us know
but
what y'all
That is
think.
that is one of hip hop's greatest mysteries because I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
We got to talk to the sneakerheads. If
But
you're
thank God-
comment below, let us
please.
know what a Scooby Doo is.
But then-
Thank God
but it doesn't make any
Kanye came around when he did, and we got out of those big ass polo and those big ass fucking the button ups into polos, and he ushered in black boy's flag. Like,
No, but
One
no.
more thing, because this is a women's history episode. Squirts, ladies, Do you remember when you had a skirt
Fire.
that looked like a skirt in the front, but it was
Fire.
shorts in the back?
Fire.
Do you remember the joy that
Fire.
you had?
Shout out to
and this goes out to all my little girls who are tomboys at heart. And you like that nigga shit a little bit. You was a little rough around the edges. That skirt gave you the elegance in the front.
Shout out all
wild girl in the back. Okay.
Shout out all the shorties that wore the skirt with the slouch socks.
Shout out to the squirts, yo. They could bring the squirts back.
Hey, bring the Melissas back too. Y'all was going nuts with them. The Melissas was fire.
Are those the shoes with the strap?
The little plastic joints, the see-through joints. The Melissas was fire.
Wait, were Chinese slippers 2002?
Yeah.
Oh my God, name belts. How many shirts were you wearing in 2000?
That's what I'm saying.
Me.
How many shirts?
All right,
Like the polo period, like you weren't just wearing one polo. You were
How
wearing two
many
at a time.
shirts
Keep
were
it
you
up.
wearing in the early 2000s?
Me, 1, 2 max. But that was because
When was anybody wearing more than that?
niggas was, but mine.
I'll tell you.
When I say that, it was I had the one shirt, but it had that sewn in collar up under it, so it made it look like it looked like I had on 2 shirts, but I was only wearing one.
Listen, there was a time, and girls, I know I already talked about the squirts, but there was a time where we wore 3 shirts, and I'm gonna tell you why. We had the polo, then we had the t-shirt, the graphic tee. You put your graphic tee over your polo, and then if you really wanted to take it to the next level, you would put your cami over top. Now, a cami is a shirt with a built-in bra. So me being always well endowed, I couldn't really get into the cami, but when I did, when I was a B cup, I used to love a good cami.
Damn.
But we would then take the polo and put the cami on top.
Oh, camis.
Or we would double up on the polo, flip the collar. It was nasty.
At some point, we're gonna do this episode in full.
It was nasty.
But shout out to all my shorties that had the weight belt on. Oh my God. The weight belt, you just put it under your shit and match it with your beads.
Yep.
Oh my God. Who wore the weight belt over the skirt? Like over the shirt is nasty behavior, but it was happening.
With them long ass skirts and like you had a tank. We had to wear the polo underneath of our camis because we weren't allowed. Your strap had to be 1 inch.
Niggas was in Claire's.
Another fucked up thing.
And Claire's burning it down for the beads.
Because shoulders are sexy.
Yeah, I was in the back
guess.
of that class, body rolling like shit. With them camis on.
Hot as fuck.
To fucking Lil Boosie.
Hot as fuck. But yeah, okay. So Kanye ushered in an era for 2010s, and Drake did too with 2010.
These women are real women, bro. These are the women that not only are they still fighting, because I mean, as a people, we're gonna fight, and they're gonna have to. Their fight is gonna be the hardest. And until us as men become allies, their fight is gonna be hardest and probably the longest. But they are the ones, and they letting you know I'm the one. Like nigga, you say something you want to about Beyonce, say something you want to bad about Rihanna, say something bad about Serena, say something bad about a black woman that they care about. Because I was gonna there's certain black women that don't deserve the credit. They're pawns and motherfucker schemes, but we respect you, even if that's what you want to do. But you also don't get no play from this side, because there are women out here who are fighting a real fucking fight, and we need to cherish them and respect them and love them.
Absolutely. I think we spent a lot of time talking about pop culture women, but
I just feel like we gotta.
Yeah.
Give them a little.
Shout out Dr. Battle. We love you. We miss you. You know the vibes.
fighting the fight. There are
Fighting the
women
fight.
in our everyday lives who continue to fight the fight to make sure that we are treated then the thing about when black women do it, we're not just doing it for black women. We're doing it for everybody. To make everything better for everybody, not just us and our family and our household. Because if we don't stand up about things that are happening to us, who will?
Shout out to the women of the WNBA.
Oh my God.
They the ones.
We're in 2010 right now.
Yeah, 2010.
Shout out to my ladies that's wife and niggas.
Oh yeah, shout out to Nicki Minaj.
Shout out to the ladies of the WNBA who are putting their foot first and fighting for equal rights among that shit. That's super impressive. Shout out to this level of sexuality. being in it, accepting it, and doing whatever it is that you're gonna do.
Right. The 2000s kind of like, okay, we trying sexy.
Yeah.
2010, I don't give a fuck what you got to say about sexy.
Hey, you want to know who? All right, this is gonna sound wild, but when I think of sex and using what you got, Black China don't get the respect she deserves. Like Black China was a stripper,
Embezzled.
one of the best strippers, one of the most famous strippers we knew. Right? She has turned that into a fucking empire. You know, she was a stripper, then she became Tiger's baby mama. But now Black China is a blueprint for women who want to do things, who want to change their life for the better. And I appreciate it.
Who do you think did you see the trend on Twitter where it was like the inspo or inspired? Yeah. How did it go? The inspiration, the inspired.
The inspired. Black China on one side, anybody you look at on your Instagram feed.
Ari, Miss Jewelry.
Like any of these.
Real estate.
These girls, yes. You know what I'm saying? Like these women, Black China was that blueprint for a lot of women. And I think she deserves some of her respect. And shout out Tokyo Tony. You know the vibes.
You know, I know how you feel about Tokyo Tony.
Yeah, and Black China definitely inspired some people on the other side of the spectrum.
I mean,
literally the.
Want to keep it a buck?
Like, no, don't say their name. Literally the blueprint.
You want to keep it a buck?
Literally a blueprint for a lot of surgeries.
Niggas was trying to keep up with Black China before they had a show called Keeping Up. All right. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We don't want to talk about that.
They don't want to say that. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about that.
They don't want to talk about that.
Black China, yeah, she did that. Sexy.
Yeah.
Strong.
Amazing.
Embezzled.
Got a whole empire of that shit.
And then, you know, I think as far as society goes with 2010, it's still a fight going on with the 2010 decade and to where we are now. It's still a fight for equality. We're always fighting to break the mold of what we're expected to do because there are still people alive who were there in the 60s and the 70s where women only were supposed to eat, sleep, fuck, and clean.
Yeah.
You know, and now they see women doing other things and they still have a problem when
business
they see
owners.
Meg and Cardi B doing WAP, or when they see women being CEOs or vice presidents of the United States, or, you know, starting corporations, running corporations.
Shout out to Black women as a whole as being the most highly educated group of people in the whole country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, in terms of the biggest group that are now entrepreneurs.
Fact.
Absolutely.
So I just, you know, that has a whole.
Even shout out, you know, everybody just doing something. There's a bunch of people that don't get their recognition. You know, shout out to all our friends, because I know listening to this, your friends, your Black women friends are starting their own business and creating their own businesses like Issa. Shout out to them.
Shout out to the Black women running it up in corporate America too.
Yeah,
because they come in there and they got these expectations of what you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to act, how you can't do X, Y, and Z. No, go run up them corporate dollars too.
Shout out.
Run it up.
Most of the music industry ran by women now. It's crazy.
But I remember when they used to try to tell us that we couldn't do nothing. We too emotional. We wouldn't know. No, we've been raising households. No. We've been raising a nation since nations began. Like the fuck? Right. How we can't run a country?
So I didn't really appreciate this until the last year or two. But shout out to the Black women out there who are like really ushering like they're being themselves, like in terms of like natural hair and appearance, right? You're now seeing where it's like you don't have to be permed or, you know, or straightened or nothing like that. Like you can wear braids if you want.
Locks.
You can wear locks.
It was so funny. Last night I told Eric that I told EA that I wanted to straighten my hair, and he was like, "You sure you want to put all that heat on your hair?"
Look at you.
I'm showing up.
That's where he work at Beauty World.
Like that is hilarious because as a Black man living with a Black woman, you know that, you know, we try not to put heat on our hair because it'll damage the curl pattern. And for him to be his first response as opposed to, yeah, girl, go get your hair straight. Nah, wear that shit curly. I like that.
I never want to be a Black woman.
Listen, music.
That's some hard shit. And I'm only talking about appearance wise.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The only reason why I feel like I had to say something about, the hair stuff and stuff like that, because that's the least I can do for using her products anyway. Because like black women, like y'all are the ones that put us on to the butters, to the creams, or not to say oils anymore. Like, it's not really,
we put y'all onto the creams, all right. Stop staring at me. Stop looking at me, guys. Okay.
I'm uncomfortable.
Yes. You're late.
No. That's gonna work out perfectly.
Okay. No, so definitely with the hairstyles, that's a big point. I don't know when that happened, but before it was all these whitewashed hairstyles, like straight, no color, can't do this, can't do that. Now I could put a whole scalp on. My whole scalp on across. Glue that thing down.
That's crazy.
Got myself whatever hair I want.
That's funny.
But I'm interested to see what turn we take from where we are as women now into the 2020s. Like it's nowhere but up.
2029. By 2029, we'll have a black woman president.
It's gonna go up.
She's gonna be a president by the end of.
You know some things I want to see.
2029.
I want to see giving birth be free. I know this is crazy, but I think that giving birth we shouldn't be in debt from giving birth. I want all women, the feminine hygiene stuff that we got to pay for, we shouldn't have to pay for it, because why am I going broke? Like, there are women out here who are homeless, who still have a menstrual cycle, who don't have the things that they need because they're so fucking high priced.
That's valid.
Like, I can't help the fact that I bleed once a month. Help me. Like, give me something. This should be a resource.
They call it the luxury tax.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a luxury tax on a damn tampon. I need this. I have to buy this, So I would like to see that. I would like to see women continue to be loud, continue to take over the world, and be uplifted at the same time. Like, I don't want to see any more women being put down for being who they are. I love the culture that we're in, where women are allowed to step into who they are, be who they are, say what they want. And for all of those women out there who are listening and still feel like you need to live in mode, fuck that. Like, that time is over. Be who you want. Say what you want. If you want to be modest and pretty and sit up and be cute, that's you. Do you, boo-boo. If you want to be loud, you want to talk about anything you want to talk about, you want to cuss, you want to drink, do that. If you want to be a wife, be a wife. But I love the fact that we have the choice to pick which avenue we want to go down. And that's what I want to continue to say. You looking for anything from women in 2020?
I mean, the vibes, any and everything.
Anything is possible. Are we still saying that?
I hope not.
Okay, let's go.
Which I also think a black woman started, but all right.
They definitely did.
They definitely did that shit first.
Let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back with our final thoughts. All right, so we're back with our final thoughts, and Meezy, you got something for us for our final thoughts?
I know this was mostly black women, because it's a black podcast, so and we love our people, but I think some of the injustice being done to women are absolutely nuts. Apparently, the end of last week, video surfaced that the women's tournament for the NCAA tournament, which is one of the biggest, this shit is spoken around office places, work, business, restaurants, grocery stores. Everywhere knows when it's March Madness. And the women have their own tournament, and the conditions are not up to par as the men's. The men have a whole fucking gym workout center. The women only have one minimal, the baby weights
little
at the
dumbbells.
the little dumbbells at the gym,
like the home dumbbells.
Yeah, like, and this is one of the biggest, like, one of the things that's going on in the world, like giving women less, treating women less. The pay thing is still a big thing, a big issue. Wagings among women. I just can't wait till we get to a place where women are not just seen as lesser or not equal
or weak. Like, we just work out with dumbbells the whole time.
Exactly. So
like, we know what to do with the squat machine.
Exactly.
And the bench and all of those things.
I just wanted to, say that, speak some peace on that. Can't wait till, everybody think of them as equals and whatnot, I'm gonna still be misogynistic, but that don't mean I don't love you no less.
Yeah.
You know, it's just fun. It's fun sometimes.
Okay.
It happens.
No, that's something we're fighting against.
It happens.
We are, we're fighting against that every day. I want to see, I just want y'all to stop underestimating our ability to do things and be strong, because you can and will get your ass kicked by a woman.
Is this where I could put my cash app for the black women to cash app for me?
Why are they cash apping you?
I mean, I'd like $170 for Tylenol because she's a headache.
Okay. This is actually the time where we play a playlist to smoothen out the thoughts that were shared during this episode and hopefully help with your headache. But if you're a woman out there who wants to send Meezy a cash app for being a headache in his life, Jazz, his cash app is $Meezy Boulevard. That's MEZZYBLVD. All right.
Spelled it wrong.
You definitely spelled it wrong.
We had calls for like 3 years.
MEZZ.
It's not two Z's.
MEE.
That's your name. See, look,
shit.
Look.
MEZ
Nope.
MEE.
All right, bro.
MEE
It's not even important no more.
ZYBLVD.
You know what?
Yes.
I know how to spell your name.
Nigga, the stimmy hit. Niggas do not want to give out no money. That's crazy.
They do. This is the time. This is the time to collect.
You are now tuned in.
You are now tuned in.
This week on the Baby Maker, we got Mamii. This song is called Intimate here on WMEZ.
Textually active.
All right. So I like that song. I love all the new music. Did you do all women this month?
I don't think so, but you know, for the last couple of weeks I have.
That DOD song last week?
So catchy.
Fire.
So catchy.
Fire. That other one where Pi, the girl who speaking Spanish, fire.
I think it's French.
French?
I think it was.
See, I'm sorry. That was so American of
That's what
me.
you said, MEZZY.
Shut up.
That's a good one.
Mezzy. Mezzy
Which
and
is not my
Rezzy.
name. It's not my name.
I know.
It's not my name.
I know.
No matter how many New York people say it like that. It's not my
Mezzy.
name.
What's up, Mezzy? All right. Pull your memes out so we can get out of here. What you got, Meezy?
Let's see. I don't know. I didn't really have one. So, fuck it. Y'all gotta be letting me know y'all don't like me. I be commenting on y'all shit with no reply. If you don't like me, just say that.
That's right.
Facts.
Mine is.
I like to go.
Oh, go ahead,
I
Eric.
like to go.
Go, EA.
All right, so and me and Rez's household, we have one or a couple of rules that we live by, and it's to cook or be cooked, right? And it makes you wonder, like, you know, we play too much as like adults, so it kind of made me wonder, like, how do kids roast each other today? All right, so here is a mama joke in 2021. Your mama is so stupid. She studied for a COVID test, and that was for 9-year-olds. So, I mean, that's where they at. I'm actually quite impressed.
Yours is great because it leads me into mine. Mine is I'm not ugly, but if you see me on my mom's Facebook, then I don't know what to tell you.
Valid.
Moms don't give a F how you look in that picture because you know what? You her baby.
I think it's because it's eyesight. Them fucking pictures be full.
Focus.
She don't. If they over 35, it's gonna be blurry.
It's going to be blurry.
And the thing is, like, I don't know why, but my mom always wants to be the one to hold the phone for the selfie. And I'm like, my arms like length is taller than you.
Say what you wanted to say. Nobody want to take a picture on that trash ass Android anyway.
I'm convinced that they take pictures with their eyes closed. Like they just don't even utilize the screen because they're so used to like.
I think they don't know that there's like an autofocus. Like I think they don't realize that you press and then it will focus for you.
I don't think you know how they say babies can't recognize faces until a certain age. I feel like they don't recognize that your face is messed up in the picture
Or they
for
just
a certain
or they
age.
don't care.
Or yeah, you're just their baby.
Anyway, y'all, thank you for listening to this episode of Textually Active. While you're here,
Shout
make
out.
sure you subscribe.
Shout out Ari Lennox. Shout out Janaea Echo. Shout out So Sweetie. I was just some names we in the decade that we didn't say. Shout out City Girls.
City Girls.
Rico Nasty.
We talked a lot about media and fashion and stuff like that, but shout out to all the women who are like
Katherine Johnson.
are educators, are inventors,
The
are-
teachers. You
Right.
know. Shout out to all the librarians because there's still librarians in the world. As much as you want to think, there's a librarians.
Shout
in
out
the
to
world.
Suki Hana. She was doing all that shit, you know, going viral and married. The girl is married. husband, kids.
Yeah, we knew that though.
Shout out to her.
Shout out both.
That's if that's not anything, that's a black woman. You know, playing both roles, playing multiple roles.
In this episode.
Being able to switch and do both. Multifaceted.
In the episode.
Multitasking.
Nigga.
Thank you all for
Run on sentences.
Thank you all for listening. Don't do this, y'all. I'm trying. Thank you all for listening to another episode of Textually Active. We'll see you next week. Keep up with us on our social media pages. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. The links are below. We'll holla.
Rez should have been out.
Thank you for listening to the Textually Active podcast. This podcast is a full-service production from the Open Media Lab. Be sure to check in every Textual Tuesday along with following them on all social media at Textually Active Pod. Textually Active is a part of the Open Media Network.